program is to do with the African businesses, as last week was, but this time in a different format, in a sense that management. Why do African businesses fail? Why? What is the problem with our management? You know, as we had said last week, 1 in 5. My speaker last week mentioned the failures and what we need to learn. My speaker today has a lot to say as well. He's been into management and he's been almost everywhere. Could you introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you, Steve, for this opportunity.
Yeah.
My name is Telli Afrik.
Okay.
I've been in management for over 10 years,
Yeah.
over a decade.
Yeah.
I've been privileged to obviously to manage companies like Tesco's, Morrison's, Sainsbury's,
Okay.
to pretty much one of the highest levels. Also had the opportunity to manage with Hilton's Hotel,
Okay.
and in Africa as well, as a general manager for an IT company in the Gambia. So it's been part of my life now, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. When we talk about management, we talk about people as the key thing, and the biggest problem when you're managing people. Some people say it's easier to manage maybe animals or the cows or something like that because they don't fight back. There's no backbiting. There's nothing. What is the biggest problem in managing people?
I think,
especially having been in the role that you played.
I think when it comes to managing people, you need to have focus.
Okay.
That's number one. You need to know what you want from what you're doing, and you need to have a clear plan as to what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then being able at the same time to review those aspects which you've planned earlier on. Okay, and that involves a little bit of timing as well. It's also mainly about respect for the very people who are working for you, and then also being able to being empathetic to them when they're going through difficulties. You need to actually get to know them.
Yeah.
Right. Most people just use people as tools. I think that's wrong.
Okay.
I think you need to understand that people are not just there to work for you, but they are also part of your day-to-day life, and also supporting you to succeed. So that element of respect is very crucial, and also supporting them, in whatever they're doing, getting to know their backgrounds, their day-to-day lifestyle, what they like, engaging them. It's very important. And most importantly, providing them with the resources that they need to succeed.
Okay.
Because without those resources, it's hard. They'll be hitting their heads on the wall, and that obviously have an impact on the overall outcome in terms of profitability of the business and growth and all that. So it's that.
How about your bosses, those who are above you?
Right.
When something comes up and they suddenly say, we want plan A, and when you look at the management of what you are managing, the people you are managing, and the structure you have, you can actually do plan B. And then you have a fight on your hands to go to plan B rather than plan A. Do you stand up to them? Because they are your bosses, they're putting the money down, they're doing this. What do you do if it comes to that? Because I've known football managers who are standing up to their bosses, and in the end, they either because of their principles and so on. What do you do, especially if you're dealing with the Africans?
When you're dealing with Africans, our background is always plan A.
Yeah. There's no plan B.
There's no plan B. Our fathers taught us that when we were small.
Yeah.
This is how you have to behave.
Exactly.
You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. So obviously, when you come to Europe, you need to adapt a new set of skills.
Okay.
To adapt to those teachings. Yes, you need to have plans. So as to when things don't work in one way, you can easily switch to the next.
Yeah, but the bosses, they are saying, look, there is £100,000 here.
Right.
And when you look at your budget, you're looking at, you need £200,000.
Right.
In order to manage the structure that you're given to you, but they're giving you 100,000, and they're saying do some cuttings, do this, do that, do that.
Right.
Then you're caught in the middle as a manager, as you know. I'm sure you've come across these experiences.
You come across it.
What do you do? Yeah.
Well, you need to be, firstly, have a great relationship with your bosses.
Okay.
Those at the top. You need to make them believe in you, in whatever you're saying. Make them believe from the onset that, look, whatever I say can be proven. You know, so when it comes to convincing them in accepting your ideas, they would pretty much switch sometimes in your favor.
Okay.
Right. So that is something first you need to establish. You can remember, once you're a manager, you need to have your skills have to apply both top and bottom.
Okay.
So wherever category you find yourself, make sure you have a plan in place for those at the top, because whatever happens at the top goes down to the bottom.
I know.
So
I know.
if you cannot manage those situations, it falls on your head.
Yeah.
And that's where it's tough. So it's about proving yourself to them and making them understand the need for why this plan should work.
Yeah.
And give them instances in which you've succeeded in those areas before.
Okay.
So it's not just saying, "Oh, I'm against this." It's all about evidence. So if you put the facts down, any sensible leadership or those who are at the top will clearly look at it. Perhaps they'll be struggling with that.
Yeah.
And by just they need that kind of a bit of for you to come out and just as a second third. They need someone to bring something out to just confirm.
Yeah.
They need that confirmation, you know, in exactly that matter. So them coming to you or them pushing that at you sometimes it's not really that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's really for them to see how you respond to that situation.
Okay.
So it's about being skillful and also being aware that, look, at every time you are on the test.
Yeah, but okay, I do understand what you're saying, but the key thing which I've observed over a period of time, and I'm sure you observed this, when it comes to our people, on our people, I mean the Africans in general. And I'm lucky to be asking you this question because you've worked in the Gambia and now you've worked in the UK, and you've seen the structure in the Gambia, which is more or less, it's an African structure.
That's correct.
And then the structure here in the UK. Now, I'll probably want to know the difference between the two, but in terms of people rather than in terms of the resources that you have at your disposal. Because here you have the resources, there you might not have the resources, and you have to do without, but you still have to manage anyway. How do you compare the two in terms of dedication, in terms of dedication, in terms of the workers themselves, in interest in terms of their work? Because here there is an element of they do the job, but in reality they don't like the job. There's no passion. Over there's passion,
Right.
and they like the job. The pay may be less, but they can persevere because they're in love with the job.
That's right.
That's the comparison I'm trying to find out.
Well, in Africa, people are willing to work.
Yeah.
That's in any country that you go. But again, it obviously then depends on the owner or the leaders or the managers to get that out of them.
Okay.
To get the best out of them. To just put it that way. And it's about how you look after them. In Africa, there is this culture of hospitality.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
they use that a lot in management over there, making sure that they are well fed, they know their needs.
Yeah.
And as a result, you know, it's very easy to manage an African person in some ways. You know?
Not here in the UK. Not here in the UK.
But in the UK,
Yeah.
it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
Here, because
with the labor unions and so on. Yeah.
a lot of rights and stuff, and also the fact that people see themselves as equals.
Yeah.
In a way, we all here anyway. Who are you to talk to me like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
But in Africa, people respect hierarchy. They listen a lot, and they do what you ask them to do. Right? You want from them. But the only things that's lacking there again is exposure.
All right.
It's one thing that really lacking. But if you can bring those exposure to them, give them those resources, those materials, which I go back to.
Yeah.
It will help them to excel. They will do miracles for you.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I learned when I was, for instance, managing a company in the Gambia.
Now a shift from IT to management.
Right.
Somebody will listening to us or hear or view, listening and looking at us would say, "Oh, he's an IT manager. What is he doing in management, in trying to lead, if it's not his own company?"
Right.
Because you've had, management positions even here in Tesco and Sainsbury and everywhere, but not in the IT department which you qualified in. How does it come about? Because that sort of diversity, multitasking. Yeah, we know that from the women, but not from the men.
Yeah, well,
how is he managing?
The way I managed that, first of all, those above me believed in me.
Okay.
That I had the skills of managing people. I think that's where it starts, really. And I had to believe in them as well, that what they were telling me was right. I proved it that it was right. And since then I've just sailed through.
Okay.
And that's very, very important. Sometimes when people point out that you've got this talent, most Africans take it for granted.
Okay.
It's not a joke. If someone tells you that you've got this about you, explore it, see how far that leads.
And, can lead you.
Yeah, it can lead you.
But what do you do when you are, say, for example, doing an IT job and you're advising the boss on something? Then he looks at that and he says, "Look, you gave me like what Joseph did in prison." Joseph, from the Bible, he simply advised somebody, and when that person was released, and suddenly he went to tell the king his dream, and the next thing you know, Joseph is a prince. Now, the whole idea is that when you're doing your IT work, somebody spots you, or you're advising the top person, then suddenly says, this young man came up with a brilliant idea.
Right.
Let's put him in a leadership role. Right. Is that how it goes? Because I'm looking at how you can jump in from a position honest, of an employee
to some extent. I just feel that Steven, it has to do with destiny, I guess. I think destiny also plays a greater role.
Yeah.
Because I believe in your life too.
Okay.
A lot of things have come your way that have shocked you.
Yeah.
You know, in everybody's life, in particular, there have been an event, opportunity that comes your way that you think,
how did I get here?
How did I actually get in this situation?
Yeah.
But it plays a role, and it's about also you being able to adapt. To adapt quickly to those situations, and then being able to deliver on what is required in those situations. Because remember, I just finished my degree. From the United Kingdom, and I thought, okay, I used to study in the Gambia. Let me take some time off. I took a break from my work with Tesco's and went back home, and within a week, I got myself a job. I got a call. I got myself a job as a general manager, and I made a massive impact within that short period of time.
Okay.
Because I wanted to. I was so eager to show and prove to myself that all of these things that I've learned in uni, and also while I was working with Tesco and studying at the same time, I'm managing family life and all that. I was eager to put these things into play.
Okay.
And as a result, very successful. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, but is there secret? Is there secret? Because this is one thing that I've observed.
I think for the secret is love. It's love for what you do. For me personally, if you have love for what you do and give it the utmost work that it deserves, in terms of research and actually planning and making sure you do what you say you're planning to do.
Okay.
And then review those processes, and it will yield dividends. You definite. And again, when you ever find yourself in a situation like that, you can easily say, this matter worked this way. So if I apply this system, it will work. So it's something that you learn as you go on.
But doesn't it involve a little bit of saying, for example, when, for example, you understand what the the top managers or the top directors want for a particular company, and you go along with what they want and give them the profit, because the key thing is the companies are there to make profit. If they're not making any profit, they shouldn't really be in business at all.
True.
Yeah. So when you give them what they want, and then tomorrow they give you the resources to do what you want, that is proper management. That's how we are looking at it.
Right.
Or to manage without proper resources, because there is a particular sense that I look at, maybe a secret world, that certain people prefer to work with certain people because of the way they approach them, because of the way they are treated, and so on and so forth. That is the secret I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the element of respect comes in play a lot, and you show a bit of love for the people who work for you.
Okay.
Not just a bit, to a large extent. Because if people respond to that a lot, you know, if you care and love me, I will care and love you.
Okay.
And I'll work for you. If you sacrifice for me, I will sacrifice for you.
Okay.
So if you have that mentality in you, and also if you have the mentality to succeed, and people see that you're always emphasizing on getting to where you want to get to, they will follow you in that journey.
Now, we're looking at the African businesses here.
Yes.
They're failures.
Yes.
And their success.
Right.
Others are succeeding, others are failing. Is there something in there from the failures that is to do with a poor management, getting cousins, getting brothers, getting, all sorts of people into positions of authority within the companies? Or is it something to do with the selection and choices of the managers that they make?
Yeah, it's true. That's the main thing. You just hit it on the head. It's a lot of sentiment in Africa, because as soon as you get yourself a business, obviously, gradually people start creeping close to you, and trying to be part of that business. And as a result, most of the owners, they lose sight.
Yeah.
So I remember when I had the job in the Gambia, as a short story, putting it short, the owner of the business had most of his employee from the church.
From the church?
Right. So, and this person was a very good, he was a giver in the church. He played a great role in the church. Right. So, as a result, those members in the church
got jobs.
They got jobs, but at the same time, they misrepresented his giving as he had a lot of money.
All right, yeah.
And so they should pocket the rest of it in their so me coming from UK is it was a shock to me when I got to find that out. So the first thing I did was to restructure the whole business and make it profitable for him by taking those elements or changing the whole dynamics in order for it to work for him. And that was one way I was able to address that very quickly.
Yeah, but what leads to the fail, do you think? Okay, well, I could understand the use of relatives.
Yeah.
But other resources, what sort of contribution do they play in the success or failure of the African businesses?
I think in Africa, one of the biggest failures is the leaders themselves. They tend to give too much responsibility out.
To people who can't manage.
They don't have those skills. They just say, okay, well, you've been helping me out, so get to this position. Yeah. And they have shortfalls. You can't stretch them. They don't have the skills that we're taught here in the Western world. It's not about sentiment.
Okay.
It's about getting things done. Period.
Okay.
So but in Africa, you can get away with everything. Almost a lot of things.
Yeah.
And when you leave Europe and go there, it's always a big shock to you.
But even here, my guest last week was talking about it. The failures are even coming in, even if it's not just in Africa, but even here, which comes back to either a mental, a mindset that we probably have. If something is not going right, something is wrong, and you can't actually see what is wrong, regardless of your education or something like that, you can still fail. But does that come about because of the mindset we have as well?
The mindset is very central to your success.
Yeah.
Because, if you have a mind that is in doubt, you will never.
If you have doubts,
doubt, you always have to put doubt behind you.
Yeah.
When you're managing, and focus on the issues at hand.
Yeah.
Again, here one thing that's very important in the UK or in management in the Western world is following instructions.
Okay.
It's instruction driven, and when you're asked to do something,
Yeah.
you're expected to do that thing, right? So with the African mentality, they will try and beat around the bush,
Yeah.
before they get to that point. So and in the West, it's frowned upon, because it's a waste of time. Yes, you have a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's only one thing that matters among those mix,
And that is.
and that is what they've asked you to do. Why haven't you done it?
Yeah.
Why are you not doing it? And those are the things, because in your life there are a lot of things going on. There are priorities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to prioritize, just as your manager or those above you is expecting that. I want you to deliver on this or that. In Africa, you don't have that.
Yeah.
You just go there, sit down in the office, make a big cup of tea, have a big laugh, whosoever working, do this work for you, and off you go.
Yeah.
In Europe, everything is properly planned.
It's a completely different. How about competition? Because if you haven't looked at competition, if you haven't, because David Smith once said last week that competition is one of those areas that the Africans are not really looking at, and research is another area. You start something, you haven't researched it, and then you haven't looked at the competition around you to see what the competition are achieving and are failing to achieve, and so on. Because you need to go in with something in mind. Look at those areas. Is he right?
Yeah, he's right. There's lack of competition, again, because people are not really that skilled or knowledgeable in what they want to do.
Okay.
Most of them are just pretty much copycat. I see this person doing that, so I want to jump into it. There's no love and passion for what they're trying to do, and as a result, they end up failing. But those who actually follow their passions and have that love and have a plan, or have been exposed and have done their research well, they always succeed.
Now, what would you advise them? Because this is one major thing that we are looking at, and they go to seminars. Each year, there's one at the O2 Arena, organized by the West and the Africans, and so everybody turns up, and they go, they listen to the speeches. But people like you who have been in the industry a long time, in structure of management, in the areas where you've worked, is there a secret somewhere? Because I'm going on and on about this, because there has to be something which somebody listening would say, that's what I gathered from there. I think I'll go and do that. What is that? Is it determination? Is it money? There has to be something that pushes somebody to spend sleepless night working on something.
I mean, first
is there anything out there that we don't know about?
I could say, do what you love.
Okay.
Do what you love.
Love is
it's the medicine to everything. Even with God, it's love. It's the medicine. It's the center of everything. So if you do what you love, you will succeed. If you do what you don't like,
however much money you're going to get,
it doesn't matter how much money. It doesn't matter. So you want to do business, love that business. Have a passion for what you're doing, and then give everything that it requires. Just as you do when you want somebody nice in your life. So it's pretty much that kind of thing with us, Steve. Yes. So
Now, how about you have a man of diversification who can diversify, who can do what they call multitasking, if I might have to say, and you are partly into acting as well. Tell us something about acting, because leaping from a leading role into management as a manager and director and so on, and then suddenly into acting. Somebody would say, is this guy crazy?
No.
What's happening here?
Well, as a manager, you're already acting.
You're already acting.
I'm
in telling lies, in other words. In telling people lies,
Not really. But
we're going to make $1 million this year, and then suddenly,
there you go. Those little things. And also the fact of selling yourself a lot, selling the ideas. So it's pretty much, you have to have certain elements about you. And a lot of things. that you do require acting.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so again, if you're doing that successfully in other careers, why not actually bring it into the real life and do it? And that's one thing that actually, and obviously when I get to work with my team, a lot of people find me interesting. I do crack jokes sometimes.
No, because the acting part of it is, was it a passion? Did somebody push you?
No, that is a passion. That was a passion. That's something I actually grew up wanting to be. It was among
an actor.
That's right. And I've obviously, when I was growing up, I featured in several dramas, and opportunity came when I obviously took part in some movies. And then most recently as well.
Of course, the one that just finished recently. There are things in there which people who haven't gone into acting will probably think, hang on a minute. There are love scenes, for example. When you're married man, there's that element of maybe she's listening now. I don't know. There is these issues that come in and could easily become potential to someone else. May say, look, I think I shouldn't go there, or even wives and not going into the husband saying, no, you don't have to do that because now you're already a responsible person somewhere else. How do you maneuver?
Well, everything comes with challenges, obviously. So, in fact, that's one of the challenges in the industry. In management has its own challenges. In every walk of life has its own challenges. So, in acting, that's one of the challenges that you face when you're a couple, and then you have to take in some uncomfortable roles.
Uncomfortable roles,
But
as
again,
long as the money is coming in, though.
Well, that's very true. But again, it's about making sure that the one that is next to you trusts you. Again, that trust aspect is very important. You know, if your wife trusts you, your husband trusts you. That look, no matter what, this man is not going to mess about. You're home most of the time. You work, come home. He's not seeing you messing about, calling anybody, texting anybody. I think it should be all right. But just that, again, you have to pay your respect to the other partner.
Of course.
To which type of scenes you take.
You
know, because it's not just because you're
so you could lose money when they said no. If you're not going to do that, then we probably don't need you.
That's right. You can say let it go, but you have to look at the impact in the other aspect of your life. Because your relationship matters as well. You have to weigh money and also your family.
Okay, that's great. There's another issue which always comes in and always sometimes brings in problem, other than the family issue. That is the issue of gender. And nowadays, where women and men sit together into a kind of a work environment, expect that at some point or another, there could be tensions. Either a promotion has come somebody's way which hasn't gone. It applies to the business as well. One maybe a cousin or a wife wants you to go to a different direction, and you see your company going in a different direction. These things come. You've come across them. How do you maneuver? Especially the gender one. Now we have the gay and lesbian issue, which is so crucial into this country now, and to other Western countries. It's not a big deal in Africa, but it's here. And sooner or later it might come to Africa. How do you see that?
Well, for me, it's about having an open mind to everything in life. You know, everyone is created the same. It's not my job to judge anybody. They have the right to choose whatever life they want.
But if you go to structure where, for example, people feel uncomfortable working in an environment where there is maybe just one woman or there's one gay person, and you are the manager in a responsible position, you've come across such an issue. How do you deal with it?
First of all, if the policy of the company doesn't tolerate that, definitely that's what will prevail. If you are becoming a hindrance to the policy, then then the policy will deal with you.
Then he is going to sue the.
No, you can't sue because that's the company policy. You're meant to abide by the company policy. You can sue. You have the right to. But obviously, 9 out of 10, you might lose because they've given you that policy. You signed up to it.
Sex discrimination is something which is completely common, and I've seen people being awarded lots and lots of money from companies of being discriminated in such a way. and the company may want to avoid going through all those roles. Yeah.
So that's why they need to create policies that doesn't get them into those situations in the first place, right? Because for me, discrimination is wrong completely.
Yeah.
You know, so gender, regardless of whatever, right? I've worked with women and I've had the most awesome time working with them, right? It's about work.
Yeah.
It's not about their gender. You know, you need to focus on the issues, what is important. Okay, and try to play your part. That is why you're there, and that's why they're paying you.
Have you ever come such an instant? Have you ever come such an instant of gender at all in your life?
Yeah, you do. I mean, but really, it's not really. I don't see it as gender. I see it as the individual. You know, I look at them as their personality, how they've been raised. Perhaps something has gone wrong somehow. That's why they're trying to bring it upon you.
Okay.
But it's about being skillful in dealing with that. You know, because got a lot of women in my family. We all have women in our family.
Yeah,
our mothers play a great role. You can't
Yeah.
hate your mother for anything.
Yeah.
You know, unless you have a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so having a boss that's a woman doesn't really matter.
Because the ideal, I'm looking at where somebody is going to come in and say, look, this environment, because of one particular party's presence, is probably affecting the entire team. And then you start thinking, what do I do now in order to do something about this team so that I maximize whatever profit I'm going to get? There has to be some way in which one can think of how he deals with such an environment. Do you talk to the other person, or do you do this? You do this. What kind of regulation and laws are in existence?
Well, with everyone, there are good times in every one of us our life, or good and bad times, right? Some people are going through personal circumstances. They just need a tap on the shoulder, say, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, and they can wake up again. It's not just because someone does something wrong. Means that they're a bad person. They're a bad person. No, it doesn't mean that. Sometimes they just need to be drawn to those things that they're doing wrong.
What are some of the challenges you faced anyway in regards to the, in management?
A lot of challenges. First of all, your number one constraint is resource.
Resource.
Yes, you have to fight for it. Yeah, you don't have it on the plate. It's tough because even your boss is struggling with that aspect from his own bosses. So you need to prove to them that, look, if I've got this, this is what I can do for you.
But some companies are rich and they simply push the whole thing behind to the lower person. The resources may be there, this may be there, but because of the structure of the company, they push everything to somebody who's at the bottom, and then someone who's at the bottom comes in under your management. Have you ever stood on a principle of something and said, I'm not doing this, and if need be, I'd rather walk away?
Yeah,
have you reached that?
I've done that.
You've done that.
I've done that many times in my career. It's not that I wanted to. But I just felt that perhaps the person is trying to make it impossible for me to succeed.
Okay.
Because if you want me to succeed, you definitely
give me the resources.
You give me the resource to do the job. Because if you're preventing me from having the resource that I need to make you successful, or just holding me back or trying to suppress me, then you don't want me to succeed. So why should I stay and work for you when you don't want me to succeed? Why are you putting those barriers? Because sometimes, remember, we're humans. If you work so hard, sometimes your boss sees that, well, you're working hard. And his bosses sees that. Some bosses become a bit jealous. But really and truly, you're not doing it to hurt their feelings. It's because you just have love and passion for what you do. And sometimes the best way they could do to undercut you in resource.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Because you're working too hard.
You're working too hard. So if you had 10 people working for you, they cut it down to 5. All right, let's see now, Steve, how you're going to succeed. And then those under you start obviously
becoming bigger,
becoming angry and upset with your style and start blaming you. Steve, since you came here, you know,
so and so sucked.
You sucked everyone. But in actual fact, it's not you. So these are some of the challenges that you have to deal with as a manager. It's tough. It's tough.
If we look at small businesses, because there is a 1 or 2% of Africans who are running shops, who are running maybe nursery schools, or who are running small shop retailers and so on, and they don't really employ a lot of people, but their structure, such that they are failing in what they are doing. They may be succeeding in earning a living, but in reality, they're not making any profit.
True. Yeah, it's true. Because they don't get their priorities right.
Well,
so a lot of
what could those priorities be? Is it cash in a sense? Get a loan from the bank, or what do they do?
So some of the things in Africa, I was in Africa recently, not too long ago. You find out that there's this culture of credit.
Yeah.
So people go to your shop.
Oh yeah, the credits. Yeah,
give me that. Give me that. I'll pay
yeah.
you at the end of the month. and at the end of the month, they haven't been paid.
Yeah.
They tell you the next month, and they have the month after, and then your business is going down.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do that in the West. You know, it's you pay straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you get the goods.
Yeah.
Right? In Africa, they get away with these things. So how are you gonna grow?
No. But even here, the businesses are failing here.
Yeah, and perhaps again, it's about going into perhaps the wrong business that you don't even actually know much about. You haven't done much research about that business. You just jump into it, and then or some people are actually have the fear of growth.
Ah, really?
Yeah. So some people, they didn't think that, you know what, if I had this business, it's going to expand to this level, and then when it gets to that level, they're scared.
Yeah.
They just start panicking and thinking, my God, things are going out of hands. I can't control this anymore.
Yeah. It's becoming too big for me.
Too big for me. And then what they do is they start selling it. They depend on those small little incomes. That, and they don't want to diversify. They don't want to grow. So that was the biggest challenge when I went to Africa. I noticed straight away that look, this business was just stacked in one place, and I was like, "Come on, man! You have all this. You got all these machines. You got all these things that you can use in other areas, and then make money. This is money sitting down all over here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's do something different." And I brought something different there, and before you know, everything start kicking in. I start saying, "Look, you have opportunity to do this or do that. This machine has the capability of doing this. It has the capability. You need to train this person. I need to train this person to get the most out of those machines and stuff like that." And as a result, you start making profit. Everything changed.
The thing is okay, knowledge is power, as they say. Knowledge is power. When you have the knowledge, then you have the power to change whatever sort of life you're leading in a certain way. Now, the question of using media people, I suggested it a couple of years ago. So every business person should have at least a public relations manager somewhere. As soon as your business is growing, you get a public relations manager, or if not, you get somebody who has been in the industry as a lawyer or any other thing to sort of advise you how to improve on what you're doing each year. But that doesn't exist in some of them.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Why is this so? Is it knowledge that we're not seeking?
It's not that they don't have those knowledge. We say it because we know we live in the West. We are exposed to those things.
Yeah,
we know that those are the structures to grow and to succeed. In Africa, people just see themselves doing the same thing every day, and they're comfortable with it. You know, I mean, except unless
as long as the money is coming.
As long as the money is coming in, they're not starving. They're paying the bills. It's okay. So, but in the West, they got targets. You know, and they want to hit those targets, and they will do everything that they could in their capability to hit those targets. And that's the difference.
When we were still on education, the whole issue of going back to the people with messages. You've been to the Gambia, obviously. You've worked there. You know. Now you can sit and tell people about the failures in the Gambia and the success in the Gambia, and sort of promote the kind of business that's existing that they can go through with. Any idea on, if you had to go back, what kind of knowledge will you give these people? Because that's also important in a sense that those listening now may say, hey, I think I'll take up that idea.
Well, I think Gambia is a very blessed country.
Okay.
Those who have been there will say that. I love that country so much. It's been very good to me. And they've got brilliant and wise people in that place, and they want to work. It's a lovely place to live, and in terms of taking the knowledge there, really and truly, even in the West, the Gambians have made that very smart people, but they need to, a lot of them need to go back and help grow that country. It's rich in a lot of things in terms of human resource. They're a very hospitable country. I say one of the best, the most hospitable country in Africa.
Okay.
And that's why you have all these tourists love going there. So that is their strength. And I think they're doing a good job out of it, but they could do more.
They could do more.
They could do more. They could do more. Yeah.
What about the rest of Africa? What can you advise? Because I'm looking at Africans more in a sense that if a businessman out there, if a school teacher out there, or if a lawyer or anyone else who is listening may feel that, okay, what do I need to start in whichever business I'm going to do? There are certain particular things which one might need, especially which go for everything that you're trying to do, not necessarily just money or anything like that. What else is existing out there that...
I think Africa,
in your experience, anyway,
in my experience,
what you've come
I personally think that for Africa to grow in business, they need to break the barriers. There's so many glass ceilings. They should look at what Europe is doing. You know, companies can grow freely.
Yeah.
There are not much barriers if you want to grow your business in East Africa and you're from the West.
Yeah.
And from the North or whatever. Those barriers need to be broken. All right. There's how could I put it? Those barriers are imposed on us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, by you know the
But the West imperialist.
Yeah. So that is central to Africa businesses growing a lot, because you have people are scared of going to certain countries because of the policies there.
Yeah.
And the laws that they've put in place, that if you're from this country,
we won't deal with you.
We won't deal with you, or you're only entitled to this percentage of business. You have to connect with one of the locals.
Okay.
And some of those locals are crooks. That at the end of the day, they end up destroying your business.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the number one challenge that that's in Africa. You need to break those seals and create a level playing field.
Yeah.
And that works for everyone, as you have the European Union.
Yeah, but okay, you've sort of knocked on the door of that, because what most of them are failing to do, and what most of them, those who have succeeded, have done. Obviously, money comes into the equation, but there are other things that come in. How do they deal with a state, for example, which is not helping in any way? Because when we do the seminars, in most of the seminars, if you go to them, you're going to hear that, we wanted to do ABCD, but the state was doing BCD. Any advice on how that can be dealt with?
I mean, politics, again, is one of the biggest killers of business, in Africa. Again, if you're growing like a foreigner, some policies can be affected by change of government. And those type of things that makes a lot of people in the West being scared of investing in Africa. And again, it comes down to the love of the leadership, the love of your country or the continent. You know, as we all love coming to Europe and staying in America.
Of course.
It's based on principles that these people have established what they've established. So if Africa is to get even closer
to what they have,
we need to adapt those principles.
Now, going back to the acting now, I'm trying to look at this. How long do you expect to move to prove yourself? You need to prove yourself as a better actor. Do you need to, give us the hint on some things about it that is attracting you to abandon probably one of the most successful jobs you have?
I think we all have a message in this world.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and for me, I've got that message, and the best way to spread that message is through acting.
Okay.
And I want to see how far it goes. So if there's anyone out there that is looking to promote.
Going back to what we were talking about, again, I look at that as some kind of multitasking, the way the women do it, going to the well with it, having a baby behind your back, it's like multitasking. You're tasking yourself. You're still employed somebody as a manager in certain sector, and at the same time you're acting. And I'm looking at it from that has sort of that. Is this the way the future holds?
This is the future, Steve. We're in the future now. The future. Yeah, that's it. Started.
Somebody wants to take your role as well. Where should he begin from?
There's a lot of talent that God has blessed us with. It's about digging deep. and tapping from all those talent. So if God bless you with a good voice, I would say use it to the best of your ability. If you're blessed to be a good leader, try to get yourself engaged in things that do with that and succeed. Whatever you're blessed with, don't hold back.
Okay. Whatever you're blessed with, don't hold it back.
No.
Yeah, but you need to know that you're blessed with it.
Right. And
how are you going to know that?
People tell you.
You don't go to question them.
No.
You question them and say, do you think I'm a very good actor?
No.
Do you think I'm a very good boxer? Or do you think I'm, and then they will tell you, say, come on, you're probably the best, or you are the worst, or something like that.
They will tell you. They will tell you. If you are the worst, they will tell you the worst.
You don't know, it might not be what you want to.
People don't hold back.
Yeah.
If they have to tell you, they tell it. They tell you in your face.
Because looking at it and saying, okay, how does he multitask? Where do you get the time and the energy?
You have to, because Steve, one job doesn't pay the bills. If you have a plan, you need to multitask. If you have the energy, you need to multitask. Think about people who are prime ministers and presidents and all that. They wake up in the morning, they have a huge routine, a list of things that they have to do, and they make sure they achieve all of those. How are they doing
in a day? So they have to create the energy from somewhere.
You need to create that energy. A lot of time, we Africans waste a lot of time. Some people want to watch their best shows. They're not ready to sacrifice. And to succeed, you need to.
There was a fellow who was working for the Hackney Council, and he was telling me that he's seen a lot of motivational speakers, and they keep telling him, say, look, you need to work. You need to work a lot. You need to, in order to succeed, you need to do ABCD. You need to. So they were giving him that, but nobody was giving him an idea that I think this is the best idea. Like what you said, that you're acting and someone tells you that you're a good actor. You could be stuck on the floor doing the same job 9 to 5 from Monday to Monday, and nobody's going to support you or anything like that. There has to be something which, if the passion is there, you create, you put your name forward, or you jump in slightly. How does somebody take that first step? Because
I think if you need to associate yourself with the right people, Steve.
With the right people.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the
okay.
one
That's
thing.
very important. That's very important.
You need to network a lot.
Yeah.
And if you network, the opportunities are there.
Okay.
If you meet and stay close to your past as well.
Yeah. Oh, to your past as well.
So there are some people that you've met along the way that have made it, but if you're not connecting with them, getting to know how they're doing. Okay. It's hard. Yeah. I had one of my best managers when I started Tesco's. Yeah. And he's now in Ghana doing very well. Okay. Mr. Alex, whenever he comes to this country, it makes me aware that he's here.
Okay.
And even just before I came, he texted me just to find out how I'm doing, how his family doing. Yeah. So we had that bond. It's created from way back, and he's moved back to Ghana, and he's doing extremely well. But he always want to know how you coping, how you doing. Yeah. I have another store manager I worked for, Mark Ablo, and he's a Ghanaian as well, very nice man. Okay. And these are people that always want to see you succeed. They always trying to know what next. What are you doing? Oh, excellent.
Exactly.
On Facebook and so you meet people like that along the way.
Okay. And so the banking structure, for example, if you save a lot of money and go to the bank and your points raise, because that's another way in which people are trying to find their way in, raise the money, then get a loan, or is that not very good advisable?
It is advisable. Again, if you're well planned, you know what you want to achieve, and you're determined not just to waste the money. Use it for what you said you're going to use it for. Okay. Because I know a friend of mine who took a loan to do a business, and he met a nice girl along the way. He decided to marry the girl. So
he decided to marry the girl
and spend all the money. So his priorities were not right. So this type of thing will never make you successful in life.
Okay. No, he still enjoyed himself. He married a wife.
We call that in economics, we call it sunk cost. Sunk cost. You don't want to retrieve it. If the woman says, I don't want you tomorrow, that's it. You're gone. Project management.
Maybe he had another way. He had another way of finding of where he Richie had thought to recover the money. Recover the money.
How can you recover money from a woman? No disrespect. There are some good women out there that you can recover your money. but I think it's not really business.
No, she must have been a very beautiful woman.
If you marry a woman, it's not a business.
Yeah.
It's not a business. It's a relationship. But you need to have a foundation to look after that woman.
Yeah. Another thing which Africans are not really so connected to is the thing of joint venture, where people join together and form a business, and like say shared ownership, where you actually buy shares into businesses, and so that you all have shares in the business, and you all have to fight to make sure that the shares are successful, as you know, that you share the profits when they come along. So we are not so it's not something that is so common among us. Again, you may think it's a mindset, but how do we overcome this? Because you find this a lot within the white community. They actually do shares, and a company as it grows, it lets people buy the shares in the company so that the more profit will come in, and they will share the profits. But when African creates a business, it's his business. He runs it like he's,
It's not just in Africa. Even those who are here that are from Africa, they have that mentality. I think it's fair. It's the fear of
the fear factor.
Fear factor. Uncertainty. This guy might change his mind, and then just run everything down on the ground. Again, and that's the biggest killer. And also greed. Selfishness. I am the one who created this.
Therefore it's mine.
It's mine, and I'm not going to share with anybody. And when it's like that, you're limiting your success. And that's what most people are failing in achieving. Because everything for them is for them. That's selfishness. It's me. I started this. It's mine. I don't want you to have any part of it. That's the biggest killer. Why in the Western world, a white person can see opportunities
with the other person,
and think, you know what, the business that you have connects to my business. That if I implement this in your business, together we're going to be profitable. So why don't we come together and make a pack, and then we share from this, and they get it because it's making both of them successful. But in Africa, if somebody will be thinking, you try to come and steal my stuff, you mess me up again and want me to the ground, they will never do it. So it's that fear factor, to be honest. I think personally that's what I think.
It is. Okay, we're coming towards the end of the program, and I probably need some kind of, if you had to sum it up in a few words, what would we need? What does it need? It doesn't need. Does it need money? Does it need what is there in the mind? Is it to change the mindsets and to ensure that we succeed? Is there something in there like we do in sports now? We're succeeding. We've got footballers, we've got boxers, we've got But when it turns to business, it's another different ball game. You count billionaires in your hands, whereas you can find billionaires in huge numbers. What is there that the key ingredient of all that somebody needs to put in his on his plate and make sure that it exists? Is there something one or two which
I think for me, if you want to succeed anywhere, look at those who have succeeded. Who have made those successes.
That's great,
Get to know much about their life, their histories, research about them, their values, and their ethics and all that. So it's very important. So that is the key ingredient that you need to succeed, because every country has its challenges. So if I know that, Steve, you're from whatever country, and I want to invest in that country, and I notice that you're the most successful person there, I will try and find research about you, try to get to know you, and all that kind of, and learn from you, in order to be, as a first step to start implementing what I want to do, because that gives you a whole lot of message as to what to do and succeed.
Thank you very, very much for coming and talking to us about it, because I'm 100% sure somewhere around there people have gathered, people have got the information, and they're going to look out. And if you're not careful, they might start snatching you to run their businesses, and you'll be earning some good money. But take you around and say, look, we need that guy on our team. I'm sure that is probably going to happen, or it's even going to happen in the next 10-20 minutes if somebody finds that out. Anyway, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure, Steve. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you. Appreciate that for the opportunity.
Thank you for being with us on this program of Africa Speaks, and I do hope that we'll be together again next week for the next edition of Africa Speaks. And then again, I need to thank Omega TV also for this program, making sure that we have this program, and we're doing it's here on a regular basis. Thank you very much, Omega. May God bless you all.